by saying that, by telling that the Jews lived in Spain until 1492, and in that year they were expelled from Spain because of the Catholic rulers, Isabel and Ferdinand. And they were dispersed to many parts of the world, but mainly they went to live in the Ottoman Empire and in North Africa, to North Africa. Now in Spain, the Jews spoke Spanish, like the Christians, but after they left Spain, that Spanish got mixed with different words of different languages, depend on the country that they went to live in. So Jews, for example, that went to live in Turkey, the Spanish got mixed with Turkish words. Those who went to live in Bulgaria, it got mixed with Bulgarian words, and the same happened in all over the world. And it created a language which is called Ladino. So Ladino is a Judeo-Espanol, all Jewish Spanish mixed with old Spanish mixed with different words, and that's the language. Now the songs, they all passed down orally from generation to generation, and no one ever wrote down the lyrics or the melody. And the Jews kept those songs alive for more than 500 years. Traditional songs in Ladino, this is actually what I sing. It's part of what I sing. I'm related to that because I'm Sephardi. I'm a Jew, originally from Spain. My family, ancestors were still from Spain. And then my father's family went to live in Turkey. I was born in Jerusalem, in Israel, but I grew up as the daughter of Yitzhak Levy, my father, who was a composer, singer, cantor. And he is considered to be the one who preserved and saved the Sephardi traditional song, because he was the one that dedicated his life to collecting and preserving those songs. All his life, he used to go from one Sephardi family to another and to record people who could sing those songs for him. Then he wrote down the lyrics and the melody, and he published 10 books of liturgic songs and another 4 books of romance. And as his daughter, I grew up with this music, with this knowledge, with this tradition, history. And he saved those songs, I spread them in the world. Of course. It was important for my mom to keep his memory alive. She still speaks of him as if he were alive, right this very moment. I grew up with his voice. He passed away when I was 1 year old, and I do not remember him, but I grew up listening to his voice. And all my life I knew the importance of what he did, but as I grew up and I started to sing, and I realized that I'm bringing not only beautiful music, it's not just about songs, it's the history. It's my heritage, my being, it's who I am. And I had to explain to people the history of the Jews that were expelled from Spain, because many people didn't know that. Many Jews were not aware to that history. This is where I started to realize how important it is. So it's a mission for me, to spread those songs, because the Ladino language, the Judeo-Espanol language, is an endangered language. I don't speak Ladino, unfortunately. I speak Spanish, which is very similar, but it's not the same. And my generation no longer speak Ladino, and the people who do speak, and we are talking about even less than 150,000 people worldwide, they are all 60, 70, 80 years old. And in 2 generations from now, when they die, unfortunately, I assume that the language will finally die, disappear, because if you don't live if you don't use a daily use, the language, it can't survive. And the only thing that will survive from this beautiful tradition are those songs. And that's why it's a mission for me to spread them as much as I can. And through that, I feel that I live my father. I sing with him. I made recently, in my recent album, Sentir, I made a duet with him. I took a 50 years old recording of him, his voice. And thanks to technology, we managed to make a duet together. It's amazing because I grew up without him. So through this music, I live him, and I know him better. And I'm proud of being able to continue in my small way the great thing that he did for this tradition. For me, it's a bit different. It's a bit different than the other artists because, first of all, I don't sing in Hebrew. And in Israel, if you want to be very popular, you have to sing in Hebrew. because that's the language people speak in Israel. I sing in Ladino and Spanish. It's quite a niche in Israel, always has been. It grew during those years. I have a very, very big public in Israel, but still, it's not a popular music. I had a problem with the Ladino community, with the Sephardi Jews in Israel, in Jerusalem, mainly because I brought my own and different interpretation to those songs, and I mixed them, the traditional songs with flavor of flamenco and Turkish music and Arabic music. And for the community in Jerusalem, in Israel, it was a bit difficult because they grew up listening to those songs in a particular way, a traditional way, like their mothers used to sing for them when they were young. So then I realized that my job, my part in this tradition, is to take those songs out of Israel. And that's how my career grew and became to what it is today in the world. Now in the world, I'm under the name world music. In Israel, it's more Ladino, it's more niche. So it's a bit different, but I can tell you that wherever I go, and also in Israel, the reaction is just amazing. And when people love you, I'm so grateful for them, for the public always. I always say that I'm grateful for them for allowing me to be the loca, the crazy woman that I am on stage. They give me totally freedom, and they accept me with that. And I don't take it, for granted, but the reaction are